responsibility rests with Ray Van Nistelrooy. Oh, he's missed it! He has hit the bar! It's the final whistle. And Arsenal do get their draw, but it's not finished yet. They're all around Ray Van Nistelrooy. Video men who assess incidents after matches might be having a look at the last knockings here.
18 years ago on this very day, Ray Parlour,
long time ago,
the rest of the Arsenal bullies that should have been kicked out of football, lifetime ban, beat up Ray Van Nistelrooy. That was the penalty miss, and then you've got that iconic image of Martin Keown jumping up above him with his arms out.
Well, I think Martin was more relieved than anything because he gave away the penalty. And I would have had my house on Van Nistelrooy scoring.
Yeah.
Jens Lehmann was a great goalkeeper. Tried to put him off, but it's Ray Van Nistelrooy end of the day. And I was on the edge of the area. I'm going to follow him because you have to, but you think he's going to be in the back of the net here. And the game's over. 1-0 to Manchester United, which is a big blow for our season. So I think it was a lot of relief, and we was a little bit out of order at the end, I must admit. But that was the game. That was a tension game. About over the years what you saw Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane, and they've sat down together, and it was a lot of respect for each other. But obviously that night it overspilled, and was probably it just the emotion of the game got to us. That we managed to get a point with 10 men, which is very difficult anyway, to go to Old Trafford with 11 men and get a point. So relief, and it probably overspilled at the end. You see some angry people though. I mean, looking back at the replay of it, Lauren he was tough as now, proper old tough right back. You had Jens Lehmann, who was a bit of a lunatic. He run through everybody, pulling the linesman, and unbelievable. Now I don't think you get away with that now.
No, I don't think you would.
So it was a totally different era. I'm sure every single neutral player neutral fan used to love watching Arsenal Man United because they knew it was 100%. Everybody was in it for 100%, and used to come off games like that with ice packs on your knee, and it was unbelievable.
It was like you're going into battle.
You knew you'd been in a proper game of football.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you always feel like that when you were playing Manchester United?
They were the team to beat. They were the best team in the league by a mile. They was winning everything at that time. So when you look at the best team, now you probably look at Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea, wherever it's going to be. But at that time, it was probably just Manchester United. They were the team to beat, and they had some team.
You would have been up against Roy Keane, right?
Roy Keane would have been central midfield.
What was he like to play up against?
Tough as old boots. He was proper. He was very important for that midfield because he bossed everybody around as well. David Beckham, get back into position. Ryan Giggs, get in position. There was a free spirit going forward, but when they had to defend, he made sure they defended. Paul Scholes played his part in that midfield as well, and it was just a great game. I mean, that was always the battle, the midfield, because if they had such a good midfield, if we couldn't overpower them or be as good as them, we had no chance of winning the game with the other players they had. And it was just, believe it or not, it was that was September, and we ended up going unbeaten that season. So that was early in the season. We could have lost 1-0, and we wouldn't have gone unbeaten. And it was very similar, very fine lines between Arsenal and Man United. It was 99 when Bergkamp had that penalty at Villa Park. Schmeichel v Bergkamp. Schmeichel saves it, then Ryan Giggs scores that one, the goal. Manchester United going to win the treble, which is an unbelievable achievement. So, it was very fine lines. We should have been beaten in September, but we ended up going all through the season without getting beaten. But great games to play in. You always looked up to... When I was on holiday, when the fixtures come out, it was always June time and whatever. You usually be away with your family. First thing you look at is home and away Man United. When you're playing Manchester United.
Which one did you prefer, the home or away? Do you prefer playing them at Old Trafford or at your gaff?
Oh, it's easy to play them at home. Even though there was a top side, you want your fans behind you, getting right.
So explain to me how different and how important
Old Trafford
home advantage is.
Well, you got 75,000 people going for Manchester United, so you've got to try and silence that crowd.
Yeah,
and it's very similar. I know it's a lot smaller, Highbury, but 38,000 packed into Highbury. Manchester United have got to silence us. They're our fans.
Are they really the 12th man? Is it that
absolutely,
important?
Yeah. I mean, look at what fans have done now coming back into stadiums. Certain grounds, Everton, prime example. I know they lost to Villa last week, but Goodison Park was always a real fortress. Upton Park back in the day, that was the 12th man. And it's always difficult. Crystal Palace at the moment, great atmosphere at Palace.
Did you mention the Dell? Remember the old Dell? Did you mention that or not?
Yeah, the Dell. Yeah, that was
because there were grounds where basically the stadium was on top of the pitch, wasn't it? It
absolutely.
really was so close to
and
it.
QPR, probably the nearest stadium you can get now in the Championship.
Yeah.
Very, very good atmospheres and difficult for an away team to go and play there. So that always gives you a little bit of an advantage. But they were brilliant games to play in. Again, I got fined for that. I think 4 of us got fined, which we deserved.
What did you do in that?
Well, I just sort of give him a little dig, but it wasn't that bad.
Who, Van Nistelrooy?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
When he missed the penalty?
No, after the game.
What did you do?
This is after the final whistle's gone.
Where was the dig?
No, this is on the pitch. I don't know if you've seen it. So
What's
Martin
the dig?
Keown starting it. A little dig.
Go on, tell me what the dig is.
What, in a little...
You punched him. Little rabbit punch. What do you mean little bit? Did you punch? If this is a court law,
I did catch him.
Did you punch him?
Yeah, I did catch him.
Did you punch him?
Yes.
Right. How much did you get fined for that?
I got fined £10,000. And Martin...
when you punched him...
Do you know what it was?
Hold on. When you punched him, are we talking...
No, it was only a little dig. More or less push him, say, you shouldn't have got Patrick sent off. Because that was the big argument. I don't know when Patrick got sent off, then he really retaliated down on pitch, and everybody got involved. But that's the sort of game it was. You know, you can go back to 89 when a big brawl on the pitch, wasn't it? At Manchester United, Arsenal. So there's always been history with Arsenal, Manchester United, but they were the team to beat United. So everybody was trying to beat them. And at that period, 98 to 2003, before Chelsea got involved, because Chelsea then suddenly took over Arsenal's, and it was Chelsea-Manchester United with a big rivalry. And then obviously Liverpool have grown into it.
Going back to the fine, right? I want to go back to the fine. What happens to the fine who did you pay the fine to?
FA. So the FA would, and it's after tax as well, by the way,
right?
Which ain't too helpful.
And what do you do? So I'm curious. What do you write him a check? Your accountant does it. How does the fine work?
You probably just deduct it from your wages.
All right, so the club do it. The club do it for you.
The club will probably do it. Yeah, the club will do it for you.
Right. It's not like you go to the bank, draw it out.
Arsenal wouldn't fine you, would they?
No,
they want to see the passion of their players and
of
saying, right, look, this is it. This is, they're doing well for the Arsenal Football Club. Martin got fined 20 grand, I think. He was the man, but he started it. That's why.
20 grand.
He got 20, and
so he's earning 40 to pay that.
Ashley got 5,000.
Yeah.
And Lauren £5,000. Now Lauren, the funny thing about Lauren, he was all sitting in the dressing room because the fines come through 2 weeks later from the FA. So we was all sitting in there, and I said, Martin, you open your letter up first because you started it, and whatever you get fined will be less than you. So he opened his letter up. And it was 20,000. I thought, oh no, I've got to be 15. I thought about 10, 15. So 10 grand, and then obviously it goes down. Ashley 5,000 and Lauren 5,000. But funny thing about Lauren, he looked at it and went, my wife will kill me. I can't lose £5,000. And I was going, Lauren, these are the rules in England, I'm afraid. You have to pay it after tax and this, that, whatever.
Yeah.
And
what did your wife say?
No, the funny thing about it was I was paying my ex-wife money. I know I've told this story before now, but I was paying my ex-wife 40% of my future income.
Right.
So the 10,000, she lost 4, I only lost 6. So I went, oh, Lauren, you just reminded me I've had a result. So I lost 6,000 really, because I was given 10 anyway.
Right.
So she's lost 4, I've lost 6.
So effectively,
but I still lost 10.
Effectively, she lost 4 grand.
But I weren't really getting on with it at the time.
No,
so
I get that.
That's why I was pleased about it. If I'm being honest. Don't worry. And I was trying to explain to Lauren, saying, Lauren, this is I can't believe it. Can I appeal? I said, Lauren, we was out of order what we did, but it was the heat of the moment, and we probably regret it what we did. But I'm sure Manchester United players would have probably done exactly the same as us in the heat of the moment. Yeah. And the other way with Roy Keane and all them sort of guys as well. And that's why it was such a great game to watch. If you're neutral, especially if you're Man United or Arsenal fan, it was proper battle on the pitch.
Is that the most you were ever fined?
A long time ago. If you go and buy what you was on wages-wise, I once got fined probably near enough half year's wages.
Half a what?
Year's wages.
Because half a year's wages.
No, again, I got arrested in Hong Kong, and I was on about £500 a week, something like that.
Right,
500-600 maybe. And obviously, I got me 2 weeks' wages fine, which you expect. But I didn't realise I had to pay for the lawyer in Hong Kong.
What did you do?
Well, it was just a fight on the way home, and it was about 6 in the morning. We had to be on the coach at 8 to go home.
How old were you?
I was about 21, 22. And we were going through the wrong area, the Triad area. And I don't know what happened. Something happened. And I'm so pleased the police turned up in time, really.
So you got fined about 13 grand?
Well, it was about 13,000 for the lawyer. And they made me pay it. So that really was a big,
half a year's wages.
Liven up. you know, I always remember because Tony Adams couldn't drink at the time, so I went, Tony, I've got to go back to Highbury, see Mr. Fryer about what's happening about Hong Kong. He went, oh, drop me at the nearest pub. And I said, Tony, get us a pint because I won't be long because I'm going to get a 2-week wages fine. So I walked in and like clockwork, he said, you're a disgrace. I said, Mr. Fryer, I'm so sorry. Shouldn't have happened. I was trying to defend myself. Give it all that sort of spiel. We went 2 weeks wages fine. I totally agree, Mr. Fryer, no problem. As I was walking out the door, Ray, another word about your mishap, what happened. He said, there you are, have a look at that. We ain't paying it. And that was the bill. We put the bill in front of me and it's about £13,000. So when I went back in the pub to get Tony, I said, Tony, I need something stronger than that. I went, oh. He couldn't believe it. He went, no. And he said, look, they're trying to teach you a lesson. And what you in those days, you got a little bit of a sign-on fee, like 10,000, part of your contract. And they took the whole lot. So, I couldn't argue with it.
And you never did it again?
I couldn't argue. No,
I
was in the wrong. I was in the wrong.
So it serves you right.
And you've got to learn your lesson.
You have. Did you learn it?
Then I learned let us fire extinguish off the following week. I didn't really.
You're listening to Ray Parlour on talkSPORT on Drive.